Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we've got the game for you here. It's a Wednesday special, 7 o'clock on WDAY Extra. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, women's basketball at the Shields Center. Jackrabbits come in. They've won 23 straight against North Dakota State. Last time that the Jacks fell to the Bison was January of 2015, which is just wild. That's not the only winning streak South Dakota State's going right now. They've won 58 regular season conference games in a row. The man behind all of it is Aaron Johnston, the longtime South Dakota State women's basketball head coach, who is good enough to give us a few minutes here on this Tuesday morning for the Jacks are heading up to Fargo for the game tomorrow night. Just another ho-hum 20-win season. We visited in October about expectations for the year. I know there are certain benchmarks, but 20 wins still means a lot to you. What does that mean for, obviously, beyond success, what does that mean for how your team has played this year?
Yeah, I think it's a great number. 20, if you can sneak out 25, those are incredibly difficult things to do. I mentioned it to our team after our 20th win a couple of days ago. There will be players in college that never play on a team that win 20 games in a year. And there will be a few players that play on teams that never win 20 games over 4 years. And I don't mean that as a negative, but that's a reality. And so I wanted our team to enjoy that. I wanted them to appreciate that they're on the right track. They're doing good things. It doesn't mean just 20 times they showed up and played well. It means they made a lot of right decisions every single day in practice and prep and all the different things that go into it. So it is a neat milestone. I appreciate that. Our team does. Over that long period of time, it means we've had a lot of good players come through these doors who have helped us be a great program for sure. And they've all made just the right choices, daily habits that put them in a chance to be really successful for sure.
I know when we talked at Summit League Media Day, you're getting back two really veteran players in Haley Timmer and Callie Tyson. Describe integrating them back in. It's not like you were adding freshmen in, AJ, or guys that hadn't played. These are two really experienced players. Was it seamless, or did it take a little bit?
Well, I think it took a little bit for each of them just with their health and getting back into it. They're kind of on different timelines. Haley was probably a little bit further along. Callie really didn't start practicing until she's late September, even into October. So, she had a little bit bigger hill to climb there. And I think Haley was healthier a little earlier, so that helped. And then they're such different players. Callie's always been a great defensive presence for us, can block shots, can rebound. Playing with Brooklyn requires certain, thoughts and how we complement what Brooklyn does in there. So I think Callie had to adjust probably a little bit more. Haley was able to come in and get right back into her off guard position and pretty much play at the same thought process that she did before the injury. She had a game-winning shot really in our first game down at Rice in Houston. Hit a three late to win that game. So I don't want to say it's like she didn't miss a beat, but she jumped back in and was pretty impactful right away. So they both had kind of different paths, but to have that kind of leadership and experience, we've had a ton of close games this year. I think that gets forgotten. People assume we're just rolling along and everything's easy. You don't win close games without, in my opinion, experience. And obviously we have that in Paige and Brooklyn and Maddie Matthews, but now to have Callie back and have Haley back and roll them into players like Mesa and Maddie Vlaston with the other group, it's just the experience has really helped us this year, and those two are a big part of it.
To see Brooklyn Meyer still doing what she's doing, knowing full well defenses are keying on her, what has really impressed you about how she's played this year?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been saying this. She is absolutely one of the best players around. And I say around, I'm not just talking the Summit League.
Yeah.
She is one of the best players in the country. And she was just recognized as one of the top 10 post players in the country, one of the top 10 centers. And I think that's very, deserved for what she's done. It's interesting. We've played some games this year where she just gets, one-on-one, people that can defend and want to play. And she just tears that matchup up. Then you have people that want to double her, and she's such a good passer, so she can find open shooters and create offense. And now you got people that want to front and just deny her the ball, but she's so quick and moves so well, it's hard to get that done. So she's seen every kind of defense, and she's been fantastic. She's gone up against some of the best players last 2 years, last year and this year, like South Carolina, Texas. And she's still a really good player in those games. And so she's proven it, I think, at every level against every caliber of player against every type of defense. And she's such a willing team player. You don't see her out there just trying to hunt up shots and having to, value what she does based on that. But every game, it's like she's got 20, and I feel like, she just didn't get many shots, and she did. She's just so efficient. It just comes so easy to her. So we're lucky that she's a jackrabbit, huge part of our team last couple of years.
People have to ask, like, how did you get her? Like, how often do you get that kind of question from people that don't follow your program intimately?
Honestly, we get that a lot because it's Brooklyn or it's Maya or
Yeah.
it's Paige, or I mean, you can go down the list over the years. How did that in? And I think players that come here, and Brooklyn's no different. I don't want to answer things for any of our players, but so many of our players had offers to play at Power Five
Yeah.
or Four now. That's a common thing for us. We have young players on the team right now. Some of our freshmen are in that conversation as well. Some of our incoming freshmen are in that conversation. Um, but they're just looking for a different experience. And we've been able to kind of separate ourselves and provide something that's a little bit different. And I'm not saying better or worse, but just different than what a Power Four would do. And we've had a lot of good players that have migrated towards that. So it's been important, and those relationships have been really helpful. Our consistency over the years have been helpful, our success, and then we found great people to help keep it going.
I mean, are you the only roster in the country that doesn't have a transfer on it? In this day and age, you are the anomaly out there.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know the stats on it. You're right, though. We don't go out there and dive into that. We've had some good transfers. Drew
Yes.
Gilton
Yep.
a couple
Yep.
years ago from Utah, Tegan Larson, Haley Greer, Riley Casio Jensen. All of those players, except for Haley Greer, though, we knew in high school. So there was a previous relationship there. Haley was someone we didn't know, and she was a fantastic point guard for us, really helped us for a couple of years there. So I don't see it being a big part of what we do, but I'm also realistic to think things can change. There's just a reality. Nobody's got this figured out where you have a plan that you can just do every year. You better be able to adjust, adapt, and we have to be pretty nimble in what we do. But our preference: recruit high school players,
Yeah.
develop them, have them come through the program, stick around, and have a great career here.
AJ, you just played NDSU a couple weeks ago. Now you got to play them again. That's a scheduling kind of anomaly as well. That first matchup, what did you take from it, and what do you expect from what you'll see from the Bison tomorrow night?
Yeah, we that game, they were what we thought they were. They're incredibly physical inside. They've got a great post group, a couple really good players that are scoring and making plays for them. But they bring great posts off the bench as well. I think their perimeter players fit really well with what they're doing. They're not different than us in the sense that they want to play inside out.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Their inside game creates a lot of jump shots, a lot of good threes for them, and they're able to make them. So honestly, I think there's a lot of similarities between both teams. Their balance is a challenge because as much as you have Avery inside who's making a ton of plays and those players, they still have the perimeter players that can go score and make plays too. And it seems like they play really well together, which is what we do as well. So good for North Dakota State. They lose a couple of really good scorers, really good players last year. And the question is, how are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, good programs figure it out. Good programs keep moving forward. They have a plan, and I think they're a great example of how we'll all have to continue to adapt in this new world. And it's certainly possible to maintain success in a transfer portal world too, I believe.
To me, your whole team, Brooklyn gets all the attention. Paige Meyer is one of my favorite players to watch. She makes you go, and you trusted her early in her career. What did you see to say, okay, she can be our next one? Even early as a freshman, AJ, to say, we can hand her the ball and we're going to be A-okay.
Yeah, she's been a 4-year starter for
Yeah.
us. I don't want to say I haven't worried about that position. She's had a couple bumps in the road with injuries and things, but yeah, she's been there from the first day she walked on campus. I think we started to see that in high school. You watch her even her junior year, getting a senior year state tournament, and she was just elite, and she just didn't play on one of those summer programs where they had as much national attention and stuff. It was a little more local, great program. So she probably just was a little under the radar for a lot of people, but I really thought coming in, it's like, oh, she can do some things that are really unique and special. I think it was maybe her second or third, I forget, college game. We were down at Mississippi State. They were really good at that time still. And Paige just tore them up. I mean, she had a monster game, and you watch that game that early in the career, it's like, oh boy, this is pretty special. We got to make sure we're using her talents. But then I'll say this year, because you bring Haley back, you got Brooklyn, you have so many scorers. I don't want to say Paige has taken a step back offensively, but she's had to change offensively. She's almost picking and choosing her moments to score, but she's a huge part of what makes us go still. So she's kind of had to adapt a little bit. I give her a ton of credit for that because she's someone that could take 15, 20 shots every game. She's that good, but she's just not out there hunting those things up. She's more worried about what makes us go rather than what she can do. So.
Last thing before I let you go, the new arena, how has that gone about? Have you enjoyed it? At the changing over from Frost, which you've known forever, to what the new arena looks like and how it sounds, all of it, the look.
Yeah, have you been there at all?
I have not. I saw it getting done, but I haven't been the finished product yet.
It's amazing. For those that have been there, it's an unbelievable transformation. It's not just, paint, new carpet. It just really changed everything from sight lines to seating to suites to club areas to locker rooms to training rooms to weight rooms, offices, everything. It's amazing. The atmosphere is better than it was before. Fans are probably a little higher, but a little closer to the court. It has been weird, like my 24-year routine of what I do for a game, the paths I take. Now I'm kind of almost wandering the halls like a lost soul trying to figure out what a routine is still. But it's great. It's fantastic. First Bank and Trust Arena is one of the best around. It's a perfect size. And you look at our crowds this year, they're up. And it's hard to think it could get better, but they're up from what they've been before. And that has to do with the arena and the amenities and every part of it. So it's a pretty special place.
Well, you had 4,100 on a Wednesday when the Bison were there. I don't know many other women's basketball arena, crowds that are doing that, period, in the country. You guys had that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it's good. And the teams have a lot to do with it, too. People want to support those student athletes, so many local players. But when the amenities really kind of hit the mark like they did, and our administration really nailed it here. The football stadium's fantastic, new wrestling practice facility, our basketball practice facilities, this arena. The facilities here are off the charts, and they deserve a lot of credit for that.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for making time. Good luck. We'll see you in person tomorrow night, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Aaron Johnston joining us, South Dakota State women's basketball head coach. Jackson the Bison coming up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right here on WDAY Extra. We're due for a break. We come back. Our guy Mike McFeely waiting in the wings. Plenty to chat about with Michael. Hoops, football, you name it. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Tuesday. We're back after this.